The second round series between the Knicks and Pacers shifts to Indianapolis on Friday night for Game 3. Knicks have a 2-0 series lead, but the Pacers, they're looking to bounce back at home. So let's look at things from the Indy side in this series before Game 3. We're going to do it with the host of Setting the Pace podcast. His name is Alex Golden, and he joins me now. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's get right into it, Alex, because Rick Carlisle, head coach of the Pacers, he is not happy with the officiating in this series, and he believes there's a big market bias at play here. How are you and the rest of Pacers Nation feeling about the calls, the officiating in this series?
Yeah, I think fans are pretty upset with how Game 1 was officiated, but I think if you look at the way Game 2 is officiated, I know the Pacers did submit about 49 missed calls, they felt like, from that game. I don't think it was the officiating that cost Indiana Game 2. I think they just got completely outplayed in the second half. But in Game 1, I think there was more reason to be upset with the moving screen that was called on Miles Turner, the one that was not called on DiVincenzo, and then the kickball that was called when it was a steal by the Pacers. So definitely can understand the frustration. But, $35,000 for Rick Carlisle for that fine, for what he said about the officiating and being a small market, not getting the same treatment as the bigger market. I think that definitely is playing a factor a little bit into the series, but I think him saying that it's a little overkill in terms of the small market type of disadvantage.
Yeah, and when you hear that, Alex, you just wonder if there's some gamesmanship going on right before Game 3, and you see how that might affect things. So we'll see how the officiation plays on as we go on here. Now, Tyrese Haliburton, after a rough Game 1, he got things going offensively in Game 2 with a game-high 34 points. What did you like about what you saw from the all-star point guard of the Pacers in Game 2, and what do you think he needs to do in Game 3?
Yeah, I thought in Game 2 he was a little bit more aggressive looking for a shot, and I think that he performed well. He shot the ball at a high efficiency, had 22 points in that first half, but didn't have the greatest second half, and I feel like he could even be more assertive in the second half if it's necessary. But this Pacers team, they're not usually at their best when Tyrese Haliburton is dropping 30-some points a game. That's not what he usually does. This team is best when they have 6 to 7 guys in double figures, and I think tonight, when he's back home, it'll allow for some of the other players to step up and hopefully carry some of that scoring load for him, where it's not just him as the main focal point. But Tyrese Haliburton is a natural point guard who likes to pass the ball first, and I think that if he can do that and then score in spurts and be around 20 points per game but get closer to 12, 13 assists, I think that is the best move for Indiana to win this game in Game 3.
Yeah, he's such a fantastic distributor of the basketball, is Tyrese Haliburton. Now, his backup point guard, T.J. McConnell, he's played well in this series. Knicks fans know that he usually kills the Knicks, but he didn't see time in the closing minutes of Game 2. Should McConnell get more playing time in this matchup in your eyes?
Yeah, I definitely think that if McConnell's playing well and then the Pacers' offense is clicking when he's out there, then Rick Carlisle needs to allow him to go back into the game. Now, one thing with McConnell is he plays 100% the entire time that he's out there, so he can't play for long spurts and play for a long stretch of time. So if the Pacers need to pull him out for a few minutes and then put him back into the game, that would be something I would try. Now, I think he did a really good job trying to slow down Jalen Brunson in Game 2, and you could see Brunson was getting visibly frustrated with McConnell and his pesky defense, but did not get back into the game with about 7 minutes left. And I feel like if a guy like if a guy like Aaron Nesmith is not playing well, then you have to maybe consider going back to T.J. McConnell, because not only was he providing solid defense on Brunson, but he was also providing a different look offensively that was working for the Pacers, because he had scored 6 straight points in the paint before he was pulled out of the fourth quarter. So I think that McConnell's play does warrant him playing a little bit more.
Yeah, it was shocking to not see him as well as he was playing, and you mentioned there, Alex, in those final 7 minutes of Game 2. You also mentioned Jalen Brunson, and stopping Jalen Brunson hasn't been an easy task for anyone this postseason. We saw the Pacers aggressively trap the Knicks point guard in Game 2. What should be their strategy when it comes to defending Brunson in Game 3 and beyond, and how can Indiana improve its defense in this series?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if there is a great matchup for Jalen Brunson. I don't think anybody in the league is going to stop Jalen Brunson from doing what he's doing right now. He's just been that special. But all you can hope to do is that you play tight defense, and maybe some of those makes that he's been making in the Garden turn into misses. I think that he's just a very difficult player to guard. The way that he's been able to attack double teams and just get to his spots where he wants to, it's very difficult to defend someone that's playing at a high level like he is. But I think defensively, maybe Indiana could do a better job of, you let Brunson get his 35, 40 points a game, but you try to slow down guys like Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, from really going off. And I kind of wonder if there's an opportunity here maybe for the Pacers to play McConnell more on Brunson, see what that looks like. And then I think moving Nembhard to guarding DiVincenzo in those stretches could be beneficial, because I think Nembhard is probably the Pacers' best on-ball defender. And if they can have him guarding DiVincenzo and eliminate what he's been able to do when the Pacers have tried to force a ball to Jalen Brunson's hands, I think that could be some way the Pacers can kind of change their defensive scheme.
All right, we'll see how the Pacers make the adjustments defensively in Game 3. Last thing for me, Alex, the Pacers are back home at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for Game 3. What are the keys to them getting a win at home and getting back in the series?
Yeah, I think with the OG Anunoby injury and how that's going to impact the front court of the New York Knicks, Indiana has to dominate the points in the paint, and I think Pascal Siakam has to really step up and be more of a force for Indiana and put an imprint on this series. And I think being back home is a huge benefit for Indiana, because they have yet to lose a home game since March 18th of this year. So it's been almost 2 months now since Indiana's lost at home, and I think the fan base here in this arena will hopefully will them to a victory. I think the role players have played well on the road. The bench has been phenomenal, but maybe some guys that have struggled in the starting five, like an Aaron Nesmith, who was not great in games 1 or 2, and then Miles Turner, who struggled in game 2. Maybe getting back home will help them feel a little bit more comfortable, and they can get going offensively and defensively and really provide for this team.
All right, should be a good one. Game 3 in Naptown on Friday night. Knicks and Pacers. Knicks with a 2-0 series lead. Pacers looking to get back into this one. That is Alex Golden of Setting the Pace podcast. Check out his work there. Alex, appreciate the time, getting some perspective on the Pacers on the other side. Appreciate you, man. We'll talk again soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the opportunity.
Anytime, man.